So, you know, the tech conferences in Europe, this is my first tech conference in Europe. They seem different.
That's probably true.
Fewer elevator pitches.
They serve really good wine on stage.
No, in Europe, I'm half Scottish, half American. I travel between both. American events tend to be a lot more elevator pitches, kind of people coming up to you and talking like robots. Hi, I got this little startup. Here's what I do. And the European ones, they don't do that so much, but they're very understated. And it's like to work, you know, to get really pumped up about something, it takes a lot more work. That's just my observation.
Mark Henry, you spent a lot of time in Europe. What do you think about the differences between conferences in the Valley and in Europe?
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why Loic moved to America is to play the game, to suck up to the VCs, to go over and hang out with Michael Arrington, and that's the game. But here in Europe, you don't have a game like that. You've got to go out there and hustle on your own with your own company, with your own ideas. Maybe you don't even speak English as your first language.
Yeah, which is insane, right?
It's fucked up. But here's the thing. So in one sense, a European entrepreneur is more a pure entrepreneur because he can't play the game. So he's got to stand on, or she has to stand on their own. Whereas in America, you go sleep with somebody.
That is a bunch of horse shit, okay? Real horse shit.
Yeah, that was a bunch of horse shit.
Let me just say one thing.
Lauren, I'm sorry. Can I disagree?
Why don't we ask
Louis, who's been an entrepreneur?
I find it offensive, actually.
I want to finish.
Louis,
you moved to San Francisco. You live off of 101 or 280. You go hang out on Sand Hill Road. That is the insider's game. You got an insider track. You have a much greater likelihood of success.
No, it isn't.
That is bullshit,
Yeah, they just want to invest.
That's just
an inside game. That's why Louis.
It's not an inside game. That's a loser attitude. All right, you had that.
It is a loser
Gary
attitude.
V up here.
Dude, he asked me what I thought.
Go out and
But you're
hustle,
wrong.
Okay?
They are hustling. They're all hustling.
Mark,
I
live in New York.
None of them had to move to San Francisco.
Mark, calling Silicon Valley an insider's game is and
totally.
You're not a loser. You've made some incredible things in your life, but people who tend to do that tend to be losers. It's not people who say, I've been unsuccessful in Silicon Valley, which is probably the most merit-based society in the world, is to say, I just wasn't successful, so somebody caused failure. I'd actually like to hear Loic talk about the difference, because he's been an entrepreneur in both continents. And I think he's going to disagree with you.
Yeah, Loic, why don't you tell us what you think?
Like in general about life? So why did you? The difference is, well, there is one difference is you don't know how to take time and have lunch. I mean, really, that like that's something which is like here we take like especially in Paris, you take like 2 or 3 hours to have lunch because you want to know people. And there I feel that it's something which is, like you want to go so fast. And there's always a point. Like if I call you, Michael, you'll be like, why are you calling me? Right? And it's like very, like by default, it's like, what's the point? Why are you calling me? Why I invited someone to have dinner and someone said, why? Why? Why should we have dinner? It's like always why? What? What's the purpose? Always. No, really. And here we just have a lunch for 2 hours and we have fun and there is no why, right? That's one.
I've just traveled the world, okay? So one thing I'm doing is getting outside of the valley to hear other things. But every time I go to Tel Aviv, Israel, and I meet people who came to Silicon Valley to come on and hang out with me. I go to Shenzhen, China, and I meet the same people, same kind of people. They're all on Twitter. Okay, I had dinner in Barcelona, Spain, with a guy who runs a business on the port, not even a tech business. He's on Twitter.
Can I just a second? So. And I'd love to get back to that, but just to Loic's point, is it the 2-hour lunches and the constant pleasantries and all the wine drinking that's the reason why Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, eBay are all American companies? Why Skype was sold to an American company? Why Europe constantly looks to the United States for leadership and technology? Is it because you spend
so does China.
Your days?
So does Israel.
Hey, I'll tell you, go ahead and cheer. But the point is, look how many American speakers that Loic brought to this conference to come and talk on stage. Why isn't it the other way around?
I can answer that.
Oh, okay.
And actually, by the way, the closing session, I feel a little bit with you, right, as a minority.
Oh, I think this is going much better than I ever thought.
me too. But, I can already feel the shit I'm going to get for getting so many Americans here at the last session. But anyway,
it's the Gillmor gang.
It's the Gillmor gang. But no, I think it's actually very good that you take the time and come here because we can, understand better why. And I still have, I still don't know exactly the answer, but one of the answers is obviously that you're all at the same place. So Silicon Valley is fantastic, and that's one of the reasons why I moved there, even though I really love Europe and France, is that you're all you want to do a deal with FriendFeed, you drive around the corner, and what I love now that I gave you some shit about the lunch is the deal with Brett Taylor was, so let me tell you a story. When I wanted to integrate my company with FriendFeed, I emailed on a Sunday at midnight Brett, and the founder of FriendFeed. Midnight. I got a mail in 10 minutes back. Yeah, sure, that's interesting, let's talk. And another cultural difference now to your advantage is in Europe you tend to, say, okay, all right, for an appointment, we'll see, we'll plan, and it's already, a little complicated. There, Brett said, just come by. I said, when? Well, just come by. And so that's something you need to learn. And I took my car and went there on Wednesday, 3 days after we were integrated into FriendFeed. That is the part of Silicon Valley which I really, really love, is that everything is centered. Here you have to fly. You have to fly to UK. You have to fly to Germany. You have to fly to, all around. And that's one of the reasons why, I started this. At least for 2 days, we're in the same room.
I want to say something, okay? Europe, you can be more efficient. You can integrate features in 3 days. America, enjoy your meals. You know what I'm saying? Both are kind of wrong, right? I mean, we need to joie de vivre. We have to enjoy life. You only have one life, Silicon Valley, they don't have lives. Okay, all they do is work. All right? But see how efficient it is. So Louis can get some work done. So I say to Europe, please work more efficiently.
But you'd be surprised how much joy you get out of winning.
Yeah.
And it's important. And if you're gonna put the effort into creating a startup, but you're only going to be half-assed about it because you need to balance your life out, you're going to lose because you have to compete with people. I mean, in the United States, we're starting to get our ass kicked by Asia because they work harder than us. And
cheaper.
Yeah.
And faster.
Yeah. And the problem is that Europe's rich and people like working 35 to 40 hours a week. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you work 50 or 60 hours a week, you think you're really putting... I know, I'm just talking out of my ass right now. But there are reasons. I'll tell you, the other reason why is the tax structure and incentive structure here is just ridiculous. If you have a startup and you make it big here in Paris... Are you looked down on for being successful? Are you looked down on for making money?
But it's more complicated, Michael. Like, have you heard of Vente Privée? Michael? Have you heard of a startup called Vente Privée? No? Have you, Steve?
No.
Have you, Robert? Vente Privée? Vente Privée.
No.
Lauren? Hugh? Gabe? No. So the founder was just there 2 panels before.
Oh, they won.
Wait.
The guys that won.
No. See, help me. I mean...
I'm sorry, but it isn't a matter of we don't know the company. I don't understand what the hell you're saying. I mean, I don't understand the words that you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you listening about?
I'm trying
it's hard to hear up here because the audio
I'm trying to make a point here. This startup you've never heard of is doing 600 million euros in revenue.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah. I mean, and the point is, none of you have heard of it. Why? Can I be like, why? Because you don't care. You don't give a shit. This is why I'm...
Oh, that's bullshit.
No.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
That's complete bullshit.
I'm sorry. The founders...
You don't think that in a worldwide depression that we're not interested in somebody who's making 600 million euros? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No.
It's bad PR is what it is.
The same thing could be said. Can you name 4 companies in Israel? Can you name 4 companies
I can.
in Shanghai? Well,
Actually,
you can because you're
but
weird and you
I
go
can
around.
actually.
Louis, what the hell is your point? I have 3 full-time writers covering Europe,
Yes.
by the way. I don't know what company you said because I didn't understand what you said. It's great that they're making 600 million a year in euros in revenue, but what's your point? That there's a company here doing well that most of us haven't heard of?
Here's the point.
And somehow that proves that European entrepreneurs are as good as American entrepreneurs?
You don't get the same coverage with being hugely...
So start blogs. Start a blog.
And start Twitter.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're covering Europe, and that's great. But the point is that it's very, very tough for hugely successful companies to get above national borders. Like Vente Privé is very, very well known here, and honestly, he doesn't really care about being on TechCrunch. And he's just, super successful. And I didn't mean it in any bad way, but my point is that if you are a startup in Germany and you're extremely successful, before you're known globally, it takes a lot more time than in Silicon Valley. And how do we fix this? Well, by having TechCrunch France and UK, and by having Robert come here. And so I think it's great you're here, now that I've said that. But see, it's also in both sides. It's us trying to connect more with you guys there, but it's also you trying to understand more what's happening here and not considering that, there's not much.